Hey, everybody, welcome to Glory Hunter Special, where we count down the teams going into the World Cup. We're going to release these videos once a day. And today, we're going to be talking about mighty old England. And we're going to do a roundtable. Everybody will get a chance to challenge if they feel it necessary. And everybody will get a speech on where they think England's going, the mistakes they've made, the possibilities whether they're going to win or lose. And then we switch to the next guy. So that's the system. And I will start off so I can set the tone because this is the first video we've done. All right. England, it's do or die. The bookmakers have them way ahead. Much higher than France, which surprised me a little bit. And I think they belong there because this is like, there is no second place. There's no semifinals, no good finish. There's no good finish. We did a good job. We'll work towards something. No, they're here. Harry Kane, we don't know what he's going to be like in 2 years. He's getting older. The squad's getting older. Some of the guys that are older actually have been cut. This is it. This is win or nothing. And the good news is that I think England has one of the better teams that they've had in my lifetime. And there's no absolute excuse that they should win at all. In 18 games they played in the Euros, they've only lost on pens, which is kind of funny if you think about it. I do personally think that the typical of the British media making much to do about the Icelandic loss. I've seen this before with Germany going into the World Cup and going into the Euros too, when you really don't have much to play for, and especially when this is so close. I wouldn't really take that game as being too much. My biggest concern with England is they have lost pace. And these are two players that are, I think, they're really important, but I also understand why they're cut. Rashford and Sterling definitely going to affect the speed of this team. I don't know if other teams will actually be able to take advantage of that because even you can win without speed. Certainly, Harry Kane's not, beating Usain Bolt in a match, but certainly he's going to be more. He's definitely one of the best strikers in the world. Otherwise, what does concern me, I know Green Man's going to laugh at me. I am a little concerned, but I understand why Harry Maguire's been left off the team. Yes, he has had bad club seasons, but this guy has been extremely effective for the team. And I was a little surprised they left him off, but considering his age, it's understandable. But let's keep in mind, a little less than 2 years ago, Harry Kane was the best player on the field for England in the World Cup. So that concerns me. And that also gets me to my next player that I think was a huge mistake, was Jack Grealish. I'm not saying it's just because he's a big name. He's another guy that performs in the team. And I think a lot of these coaches put way too much value on how you're playing inside your league, because Harry Maguire is a perfect example of that. He's had terrible seasons for Manchester United, lost his captaincy, and played excellent for England. Grealish is one of those players, and I do worry if you get in a situation, especially for Southgate's benefit, if the media starts saying things like, well, if we had Jack Grealish and England doesn't actually close the deal on this, I think Mr. Southgate will be looking for a new job. Other positives, Phil Foden. I think Phil Foden has a chance to become a megastar, enter that sort of Haaland, Mbappe area if he's able to step up. He's certainly one of the most talented guys, and he does actually one of the few players that has serious pace on the team. So this is his chance to become. He's certainly a star. He plays for Man City. He wins championship. Everybody knows, but this is a chance for the world to see just how good Phil Foden is. But I think the most important thing for England going forward is Kobe Manu and Conor Gallagher. These are new guys on the team, and they have to play like superstars in order to win. You can't just go to the old guys and rely on them. Certainly, they got to promote, but you have to get it from places we didn't expect it, especially since you're getting rid of guys like Grealish. You are seeing, and I think Southgate's doing a good job, the team's starting to change. The guys are getting older, new guys are filling those spots. Those new players have to perform, and they can't get nervous and can't get sucked in the black cloud of death that we always lose on pens or something goes wrong. If those guys can step up and England can do what they're expected to do, there really should be no problem. I think there will be, but I think there would be no problem. This is going to sound really crazy, and then you guys can challenge me if you want. I think the best thing England's got going for them is they've lost together. A bulk of this team's lost together. I've seen it in too many sports, too many times. Teams that win big usually lose in the semifinals. They usually have some heartbreak and then close the deal. Well, you can't have any more heartbreak for England than you have in the past 4 years between the Euros and even going back to 2016 with Iceland.
Yes, you can.
Well, maybe for you. But I do think that that's actually good. This builds character, and they know what it's like to have extreme pressure. Except for some of the new guys, the Conor Gallagher's, the Manu types. Those guys are going to have to live. Hopefully, the other players, look, we've been here before. We've faced this kind of pressure. This is how you handle it. If that's the case, I think England will either win the entire tournament or exit in the final. That's my speech. Does anybody challenge me?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things you just said that's complete shit.
All right, are you challenged? Are okay? Who anybody else challenge me besides Green Man?
I would challenge that too.
Oh, really? All three of us? Okay, now you guys have to decide who's going to make the challenge amongst the three of you. And I
looking fired up anyone, so
yeah, Green Man.
Green Man.
I just want to say, I think Conor Gallagher's a bang average player. I don't know if Conor Gallagher's the guy you're looking for to carry your midfield. You're fucked. Like, he's an international level. He's just not at it. Bang average. Right? You're talking about England's not got any pace. They've got Jared Bowen. They've got Anthony Gordon, Cole Palmer. But I still don't think. I think they've got enough. Like, they've got enough to win it. The only reason why you could have just summed it up in one sentence why England won't do it. Okay, Gareth Southgate. That's
Really?
it. We can just end the video. Gareth Southgate, just end the video. There you go. England won't win.
Are you
anything.
done? Are you done with your
see-
challenge? Because I definitely want to reply to that.
But I just want to say, I think the England team's a good team. You look at attack, you've got players like Cole Palmer, you've got Bakary Saka, you've got.
Keep in mind, no, you got to do your Green Man. You got to do your own thing. You're supposed to be attacking my argument. You have to do your own thing.
I'm saying to you, right? This is a great team. And then one thing, reading out these players to you, look how good these players are. Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, Kobe Mainoo, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Declan Rice, Joe Gomez, and they won't win fuck all because they've got a guy who wouldn't even get a job in League One managing them. That's it.
All right. I'm not going to defend Gareth Southgate any more than I have to, but here's the thing. The guy's lost over flukes. He's lost with the players on the field. I don't think you can point to any one thing that he did. Maybe this year they've had enough of him because he's had plenty of opportunities. But I don't think that a team that's won 18 of the last games in the Euros, him sitting on most of them, is at fault for penalties. I don't think that's really good. Now, Conor Gallagher and Kobe Manu, I think it's yet to be proven whether Conor Gallagher is just a bang average player. I personally don't think so. But I will say this, if I am wrong, then they are in trouble because I do believe absolutely those guys are going to have to step up. Those guys are definitely going to have to prove you wrong. I'll meet you in the middle there, but I don't think Conor Gallagher's a bang average player, and I certainly don't think, I think Kobe's got tons and tons
Kobe
of
Mainoo's a
potential.
all-class player. He's good.
Yeah.
He's good. Kobe Mainoo's Conor Gallagher.
Well, the new guy, all I'm saying is the new guys have to set up. Now, I will pick Orson to go next.
Hello,
Orson. How's Ireland?
Hello.
We're
It's raining. It's raining again. It's always raining here. Yeah, and in terms of England, looking at them on a team sheet, they're pretty strong. But my concern would be the left back position and the goalkeeping position. They're very, very weak. They don't have good goalkeepers, and the only left back they have is Luke Shaw, and he's rusty. He's coming back from injury, so it might be that Kieran Trippier will have to play in the left back position. I think that there's a potential. Well, there's definitely a potential setup with France in the semi-finals. If they both get to the semi-finals, they're going to face each other. I can't see them I can't see England beating France in the semi-final. In terms of the players going through the team sheet, Pickford in goal. I have him picked in goal. Then Joe Gomez, Luke Shaw, John Stones, Kyle Walker, all solid players. I think Joe Gomez should start in the middle with John Stones. I think that would be the best pairing in centre backs. Midfield, I've gone with Declan Rice, obviously. I mean, you can't have an England team without Declan Rice, and that's not me being biased, being Irish and an Arsenal fan. But I do think that, every team should have a Declan Rice in the squad. Alongside him, I got Kobe Mainoo. Now, I don't know about the rest of them in midfield. I don't know about Trent or Conor Gallagher or Adam Wharton. I don't know much about Adam Wharton, to be honest with you. He comes in from Crystal Palace. I can't even envision what he looks like, but I think Kobe Mainoo should be starting alongside Declan Rice because he's got the style and the talent to fit into that position in midfield. And then it's the forward line that's going to terrorise defences. You got Jude Bellingham, you got Phil Foden, you got Saka, and you got Harry Kane. I mean, that's four of the best attackers that any team could dream of in their starting lineup. I mean, that's a dream forward line. And I'm actually curious to see what Ipswich Ben thinks about my prediction of getting knocked out by France in the semi-final.
Semi-final. So, is anybody want to challenge Orson Welles? No challenge. No, it's when Orson Welles. Oh, okay. You get to pick. Orson, you get to pick the next man. You can pick Ben if you like.
I like to pick Ben to hear an English point of view because I'm being Irish.
There's too many Celts.
There's too many Celts.
There's too many Celts here.
So I'd like to hear an English point of view on this.
Your turn, Ben.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm far too pessimistic, really, to be an Englishman. You know, I think if you talk to a lot of English people about how we're going to do this year in the Euros, they might say the same thing.
It's coming home!
The problem down here... No, I think down here, the football press, has a lot of influence. And I think you kind of touched upon it earlier on, Tommy, when you said after the Iceland game, that kind of made a lot of people pessimistic right there. And I think it's worth noting that you can't read too much into what the press says down here. But the problem that I have, and you have to give Southgate credit here, he hasn't gone for a lot of the old guards. Jordan Henderson, who many would have expected to have been called up, he hasn't been called up, and he's one of Southgate's favourite players. Harry Maguire, who, in my opinion, lacks the mobility nowadays, he hasn't been called up either. Lewis Dunk, surprisingly, got called up, maybe as a replacement for an injured Maguire. So the only concerns that I really have is Southgate has made some bad decisions during big moments in the past. During the last Euro final, I think his substitutes changed the game for the worse, bringing on Sancho and Saka, two very young players back then who unfortunately failed to convert their penalties. I think Southgate would have learnt from that though, from the bad decisions that he made during the last Euro final. And hopefully, I know I said that I meant to be pessimistic, but hopefully that'll, I don't know, like run him in good course. About the youngsters being called up though, Adam Wharton, he was really good at Blackburn earlier on in the season, an absolutely brilliant youngster. He went to Crystal Palace, nobody expected him to be called up, and when he came on the pitch the other day during our international friendly, he played 13 minutes, which I think was a good indictment into how many minutes it will get during the tournament. I'm looking out for these young players to step up, the likes of Kobbie Mainoo as well. But that could easily backfire too, because the problem is these players are still very young. Can they handle it on the big stage like the Euros? Can they handle it when the pressure is on them, when the English press is on them as well? Because during an international tournament, the press is something different. So the big question is, will the youngsters be able to handle it as well? But personally, and yeah, I wanted to touch upon, you know, like our lack of left back as well. And again, you know, like Trippier will probably have to fill in there really, because he has been playing at left back as well, despite being right-footed. That is the main kind of like point of weakness for England really. And personally, again, you know, like I'm pessimistic, and I didn't really go into why I am pessimistic. I'm pessimistic because I do question some of the players that Southgate has called up. Lewis Dunk, he's never really filled me with too much confidence really at Brighton. Mark Guehi as well. I thought he really struggled against Iceland personally. I think he's a good centre-back, but I'm confused as to why he's been called up. And our midfield as well, in my opinion, is especially weak. Look, Jude Bellingham is a midfielder, but he'll probably be played higher up the pitch, maybe as an attacking midfielder. Other than that, that leaves us with Conor Gallagher, who sadly I don't rate. Kobbie Mainoo, who's good. Adam Wharton and Declan Rice. It's all about who Southgate is going to pair with Declan Rice. If it's Trent Alexander-Arnold, who I think struggles in the midfield position, I think he's much better as a wing-back, then I would be concerned. But yeah, personally, I think we're probably going to get knocked out by France in the semis or lose in the final. I don't think we're going to win, I'm afraid.
Any challenge
Anybody
to?
want to call
I'm
me
sorry.
out?
Sorry, go ahead. Finish up. I thought you were done.
Now I was going to say, does anybody want to call me out?
Yeah. Does anybody want to call you out?
You know, this might go against my patron stuff, but I'm going to challenge that. I'm
Okay.
going to challenge that.
All right. Yeah. And I got a statement after your challenge, a real quick one. But go
No
ahead.
worries.
Challenge
Yeah,
Ben,
go.
and Ben gets a reply.
Right. So you're saying you don't really like the selection he's picked. Like, look at the players he's got. Literally, you could win this with your bench. Like, just looking at here, like, you just got world class all over the park. As long as you know how to play them. If he knows how to play them, that I mean, like they said earlier, like what they said earlier on, Greenman said earlier on, you get Southgate's a problem, but you have got class all over the park. Like winners everywhere. Like, I mean, John Stones, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kyle Walker, even Declan Rice, stuff like that. These guys are winners. Like, I don't know how you can say, I'm not feeling too good. Jude Bellingham's going to be all over the place. He's like one a generation, probably one of the best players you're going to see, like especially in our lifetime, anyways. In that midfield, Foden's it's going to be his year for this. He's going to be the main man, I think. Foden, you got Foden, Saka, and whoever you've got in the left wing, Cole Palmer, if you want to do that. And then you've got Harry Kane. He just needs to get, just as long as he gets the service, I mean, he's fine. I don't know how you can say, yeah, I can see your point. Like, obviously, Orson brought up the goalkeepers. I'm not too sure about those, but I'll get onto that later on. And, I mean, as long as, like, the midfield and the attack's got it, which he's going to hold the ball all the time, I don't see any problem with he's actually going on and winning the whole thing. I don't want you to, but you should be winning this. Like,
Yeah.
But there is one caveat, though. Although you did say that these guys have lost together kind of thing, there's a few names missing from here. But I'll leave that for when I start talking.
Ben, you want to reply to that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're wrong there. I agree. I think a lot of it does come down to Southgate and the fact that down here we haven't got much faith in Southgate. A lot of the narrative at the moment is that he should be leaving after the tournament regardless. And I do wonder whether a lot of it is kind of like snobbery from the English perspective, because the English, a lot of people down here are naturally pessimistic. And I don't think a lot of people really appreciate the talents that we have. The only thing that I will say is that, again, Southgate's substitutions will be absolutely key.
Scrutinize.
And I think a lot of the reasons why I don't kind of like rate Southgate is because in the past he has made some really poor subs that hasn't necessarily worked in his favour at all. I mentioned the Euros last time, the Euros final, where he made a couple of really poor subs, took off Kyle Walker for a young Bukayo Saka, which was an absolutely weird decision for him to make, and then we kind of like lost the game after that. So yeah, I mean, it all really comes down to decision making from Gareth Southgate and whether he can get his decisions right when it really means it.
I really don't have.
I would say.
Oh, so go ahead, Greenman.
That's why I speak on the substitutions in the Euros final. That was poor, but he doesn't get enough criticism for that. Bringing Rashford, Saka, and Jadon Sancho off the bench. He brought 3 players off the bench in the last minute to hit penalties. What is your thought process with that? Right, like what do you even pop in your head to make? And the only thing I can think is he panicked. Right, I think that he should have been sacked for that enough. That was England's tournament. You're never going to get an easier route to a final. Right, I actually have the matches they played here to get to the final. Okay, they beat Ukraine. They got a good result against Germany, but it was a very poor Germany team. That was a very poor Germany team they beat to get to the finals, and they scraped by Denmark. Okay, they weren't very convincing, and then they played a very poor Italy team that failed to qualify to the World Cup and got beat by North Macedonia the next year. Okay, and then he made those 3 substitutes and lost them the final.
I don't have a challenge as much as I do. You guys have all pointed out that Southgate's moves in the past hasn't worked. If, dropping, with the Conor Gallagher, I think the other guy's name is Walter Mano. If these guys step up and they win, he's a genius, correct? I mean, it just sounds like it really
No,
comes
he's
down
lucky. He's the biggest fraud in international football every single tournament. I'm not even saying that to be bitter. I'm not saying that to be bitter. If you
Yeah.
look at his routes to the finals in every single tournament, the one he got to the semi-finals in his first year, the only teams he beat that tournament were Panama and Tunisia and Sweden. The only 3 teams he beat to get to a semi-final of a World Cup.
Mm.
Fucking give me that route to a World Cup final, mate. I'll take that every day. Like,
Mm.
he had an alright Euros. He got very lucky at the last World Cup as well in the teams he's playing. He's got a path straight to the semi-finals this year again. And you can say, oh, look at my CV, I've got all to do semi-finals and finals. But he's a complete fraud if you look at the teams he's playing.
Hang on, because we want to get you straight. Ben, who's next?
Wow.
You got between Green Man. Yeah, Green Man. Might as well finish it up, and Meg will go last. What do you got, Green Man? Where's England going?
I really think England have the best team in the tournament, should be winning it, but I've been saying it over it's Gareth Southgate just isn't it. They should have appointed Jose Mourinho or something. I don't know. But Gareth Southgate's atrocious just on that run to the finals. He's been very fortunate. England should have won an international tournament over the last 4 years. Right? This generation have had is arguably better than the golden generation. And plus that, the other international sides in the last 4 years haven't been as good as they were. The only team you had challenging you was France. You could have beat France quite easily if you had a competent manager in that tournament. So I don't know. I really don't rate England this tournament just because of Southgate. I think England's chance has passed them by now. I think like teams like Germany, Spain, Holland, Belgium all hit low points over the last couple of years where they're on a transition phase, and now they've came out those transition phases. Especially if you look at like the Dutch and Portuguese teams, these are teams that everybody's talking about how good the English team are. I think the Dutch teams and the Portuguese teams are arguably better than the English team. So I don't know. I think they've missed the opportunity to win an international tournament.
Where do they finish up, Green Man?
They'll probably get to the semi-finals, but I don't know. They could get knocked out in their group. I wouldn't be surprised.
So you're going group or semi-final?
I just know they're not going to win it. There's no chance England win the Euros. 100% say that. Like, if England win the Euros, I will come on here and apologise.
I want to hear that. All right. Anybody want to challenge Green Man?
I've already challenged it.
No.
I want to challenge the prediction, to be honest.
Well, challenge your prediction. You can challenge your prediction.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm going to give them quarterfinals because I'm trying to like piece together the kind of pathway kind of thing. They got to come up against a good team in the quarterfinals, like whether it's Croatia, Italy, Spain. Like that's when they'll get found out. Obviously, there's some there's like I'd prefer them having Spain. Like that would show them because I'm excited for a Spain team anyways, but that's for another day. So
Megaboo, it's your turn. You're the final man.
my turn.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so I mean, what's left to be said? To be honest, it's not different. Like I said earlier on, literally this team can literally win the thing, even with its second 11 kind of thing. You've just got quality all over the park kind of thing, actual winners kind of thing. Bellingham there, he's just getting better and better all the time. Cole Palmer, number 1 in the Chelsea team. Harry Kane still banging in goals, even though the Bayern didn't win anything. Saka, Foden, Gordon, all having amazing seasons. I'm kind of worrying though. The only thing I'd say I'd worry about is like you said before, all these guys you said they lost together kind of thing. But I'm just looking at the squad from the last Euros, and I'm noticing obviously Harry Maguire touched on earlier on. You're missing some other guys. Obviously,
Well, I was talking core. Because those guys,
obviously. Yeah, because obviously they had Calvin Phillips there. I mean, don't know where he's went. He's gone. You know what I mean? Like, these kind of guys you had in there as well. And obviously, no Raheem Sterling. He put in actually a good tournament last time. Marcus Rashford and kind of thing. Obviously, good for that bit of explosive. But already spoke about how he contributed the last tournament. So there's some guys that's actually missing from there. Actual quite leaderish kind of characters. It's just, I think, maybe not this time. I think they need to lose again. Like, cause remember, because obviously Jude 20, Cole Palmer 22, Menu 19. Like, still really, really young guys. Like, they could hit their prime if they continue to play well and not fall off like, say, Calvin and Rashford and all that sort of thing. Like, I think they need to lose again, and then I think that might toughen them up to get winners. But there's no doubt, on paper, this is the strongest squad to go into this tournament, and they should be winning it. Whether it's need to change tactics up, or they just need to learn to not play boring as fuck all football, because it's so dull to watch. Like, and that's pretty much all I've got.
Where are they finishing up? Where do they finish up, Mega?
I'm going to stick with quarterfinal. I'm going quarterfinal because
Quarterfinal?
I think it needs to go in glorious failure, and that's how Gareth Southgate gets like 100 video. That's where they get like all the documentaries afterwards saying how shit a manager he was.
Any challenges?
I would like to challenge that England have got the best team, because I
Go
think
ahead.
this is a narrative that's
Go
getting
right
spun. Like, let's read out the French. Let's just give you some players for the French team: N'Golo Kante, Camavinga, Rabiot, Griezmann, Tuamandi, Fofana, Kingsley Coleman, Marcus Thuram, Oliver Giroud,
The book disagrees with you.
Kylian Mbappe.
The book
Hey,
Why
disagrees
did
with
you
you.
start with like that's about 7 players that are probably not going to play, like very much.
Pasta as well.
Yeah, like
No,
pretty
this
much.
team's been in that's defence. We've got
I've got
Williams,
lists of
Saliba.
players here that I was going to join you in and say, oh, this guy and this guy, this guy, but like you started with like those guys. You started Kante.
Kante and Camavinga are brilliant. Kante's had a very good defence.
It's kind of like a play as much. I think Giamani's a lot better.
All right, everybody.
Camavinga does play. Mendy's good as well, but I really think the French team is by far the strongest. I don't think they're past that. I think the French team is full of winners, and I think that's who's going to win it.
All right. Well, let's get to those teams when we get to those teams. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed our little roundtable debate, discussion, whatever the hell you want to call it. And stay tuned. Every day this week, we're going to have a new team. So be around. Check it out. Thank you very much. We're out.
Maguire still sucks.